con cuerno de chivo y bazooka en la nuca, borrando cabezas al que se atraviesa. Somos sanguinarios, locos, bien ondeados, nos gusta matar.
Levantones somos los mejores, siempre en caravana, toda mi cebada, vienen pecherados, blindados y listos para ejecutar.
Under what circumstances is it appropriate to limit the freedom of speech? According to Mill, quote, the only purpose for which power can be rightfully exercised over any member of a civilized community against his will is to prevent harm to others, end quote. So the real question is, do these ballads cause harm to others? According to Summers and Dominic, quote, corridos or ballads have been a Mexican tradition, especially in the north of the country, for at least 100 years. The songs, based on polkas and waltzes, feature lyrics backed by accordions and brass bands. The Mexican Revolution, which lasted from 1910 to 1917, triggered hundreds of corridos about legendary figures such as Pancho Villa and Emiliano Zapata. But over the past 30 years, the biggest growth area has been the narcocorridos, which are based on the real lives of drug smugglers. Some argue that narcocorridos are not responsible for crime and violence. Violence and crime are responsible for narcocorridos. Narcocorridos can breed a culture that accepts or idolizes crime. It can inspire those who want to be a drug smuggler or anesthesize people into believing it's just a way of life. It is the music of the cartels that glorifies their crimes. These songs may not directly cause harm, but there are many ways that they can cause indirect harm within a culture. According to Profile, Mexican politicians began objecting when the music first became popular in the 1970s. According to Bird, Chihuahua was the first city to ban narcocorridos in 1998 without any success. Walt states that Michoacán, Sinaloa, and Baja California follow suit and call on radio broadcasters to ban narcocorridos on their stations. In 2007, documents showing that under former President Vicente Fox's administration, from 2000 to 2006, 4 radio broadcasters were sanctioned for broadcasting narcocorridos. The radio bans were found to be ineffective as it was too limited in its scope. It wasn't until 2011 that legislation became stricter. According to Wald, quote, in 2011, the state of Chihuahua legislature approved a statewide ban on narcocorridos, but it was never implemented by local municipal authorities. In 2011, Sonora's Governor Mario Lopez Valdez issued a ban on narcocorridos, or corridos about crime in bars, pubs, restaurants, and nightclubs in the state. Violators would have their liquor licenses canceled or revoked. The federal Supreme Court overturned Lopez's ban as being unconstitutional and overreaching his authority, and it was considered contravening to Mexico's freedom of expression laws. The City Council of Chihuahua City passed an ordinance banning the performing and distribution of narcocorridos. Violators are subject to fines of around $20,000 and up to 36 hours in jail, end quote. According to Free Muse, quote, on February 24, 2016, Governor Mario Lopez Valdez announced the suspension of all permissions of public concerts featuring narcocorridos, especially those where alcohol would be available for sale. On March 2, 2016, Coahuila State Governor Rubén Moreira Valdez went a step further than Sinaloa's Lopez Valdez and banned narcocorrido music outright, threatening media outlets that broadcast the music with losing, quote, governmental support, unquote. Moreira Valdez declared that the ban will, quote, contribute to build a culture of peace in the state, unquote. There is a moral gray area surrounding narcocorridos. Since narcocorridos have emerged, legislation on the genre has been slow to catch up. From the turn of the century, people have debated whether these ballads should be censored. Do they cause harm enough to warrant their censorship? In recent years, the debate within Mexico seems to be turning towards censorship.